From translation, RSV, Revised Standard Version, this 256th day of the year. Today we are reading passages Ezekiel 43 to 45. Ezekiel chapter 43, verses 1 to 24. Then he brought me back to the gate of the temple, and behold, water was issuing from below the threshold of the temple, toward the east, for the temple faced east, and the water was flowing down from below the south end of the threshold of the temple, south of the altar. And he brought me out by way of the north gate, and led me round on the outside to the outer gate that faces east, and I saw water trickling down from the south side. When the man went on eastward with a measuring line in his hand, he measured 1,000 cubits, and then led me through the water, and it reached to my ankles. Again he measured 1,000, and led me through the water, and it reached to my knees. Again he measured 1,000, and led me through it, and it reached to my loins. Again he measured 1,000, and it was a river that I could not pass through, for the water had risen. It was deep enough to swim in, a river that could not be passed through. And he said to me, Son of man, have you seen it? Then he led me back along the bank of the river. As I went back, I saw upon the bank of the river the very many trees which grew on one side and on the other. And he said to me, This water flows through the eastern district down into the Arabah, and empties into the sea. But when it flows into the sea, the water will make the sea fresh, and wherever the river goes, every sort of living creature that swarms will live, and there will be very many fish, for this water flows there, and it makes the salt waters fresh. So everything will live wherever the river goes. The fishermen will stand beside it. From En-Gedi to En-Eglaim, it will be a place for the spreading of nets. Its fish will be of very many kinds, like the fish of the great sea. But its swamps and marshes will not be made fresh, they are to be left for salt. And on the banks of the river, on this side and on that side, there will grow all sorts of trees for food, whose leaves will not wither, nor their fruit fail. But they will yield fresh fruit every month, because the water for them flows from the sanctuary. Their fruit will be for food, and their leaves for healing. Thus says the Lord God, This is the boundary within which you shall divide for inheritance the land for the 12 tribes of Israel. Joseph shall have 2 portions, and you shall divide it equally. I swore that I would give it to your fathers, and this land shall fall to you as your inheritance. This shall be the border of the land, on the north side, from the great sea, by way of Hethlon to Zedad, Hamath to Berotha, to Sibraim, which is on the border between Damascus and Hamath, to Hazar Hatticon, which is on the border of Haran. So the boundary shall run from the sea to Hazarenon, which is on the northern border of Damascus, with the border of Hamath to the north. This shall be the north side. On the east side, the boundary shall run from Hazarenon between Haran and Damascus, and along the Jordan between Gilead and the land of Israel, to the eastern sea and as far as Tamar. This shall be the east side. On the south side, it shall run from Tamar as far as the waters of Meribah of Kadesh, and then along the brook of Egypt to the great sea. This shall be the south side. On the west side, the great sea shall be the boundary to the point where the boundary comes round to Hamath. This shall be the west side. So you shall divide this land among you according to the tribes of Israel. It shall be in lots as an inheritance for you and for the aliens who reside among you and have children among you. For you shall treat them as native-born children of Israel. With them you shall have an inheritance among you. The alien and the native-born shall have one law for themselves. I am the Lord. Ezekiel chapter 44, verses 1 to 31. Then he brought me back to the outer gate of the sanctuary, which faces east, and it was shut. And the Lord said to me, This gate shall be shut, it shall not be opened, and no one shall enter by it. For the Lord, the God of Israel, has entered by it. Therefore it shall be shut. Only the prince may enter by it, to offer burnt offerings or peace offerings to the Lord. And when he enters or goes out, the gate shall be shut. but let him not pass through it. And he led me through the south gate, and behold, the gate of the south, and he measured its side walls and its vestibule. They were the same size as these. And behold, there was a wall around the temple area. The length of the side was 5 cubits, and the breadth was 5 cubits. It was a square. And before the temple was a structure of 3 stories. And he said to me, This is the charge for all of the house of Israel, that the holy lot from the temple may be an hereditary property. When any alien shall dwell with them, you shall provide for them, that they also may have an inheritance among you. They shall become hereditary property to you. You shall assign them, as well as aliens, a hereditary property in Israel. They shall be an inheritance to you, as to the children of Israel. To an alien or a sojourner shall you give them a hereditary property, along with your tribes of Israel. The Lord said to me, The prince and all the people of the land shall be guiltless in this holy place, but, on the contrary, the alien who dwells there shall be responsible. And it shall be assigned to you that the sacred things are not to be alienated. But you, O sons of Levi, who bear the sin of the sanctuary and the people, shall offer daily sacrifices to restore the people to a right relation to God. The sons of Zadok, who were set apart to be priests in the sanctuary when the people of Israel went astray, shall officiate before me. They shall stand before me to offer me the fat and the blood of the sacrifices. They shall offer them to me. Because they ministered to the people in the sanctuary, and because they were leaders of those who erred, I swear that they shall be my ministers. They shall have charge of my sanctuary. They shall hold office in my house. They shall not come near to serve me as priests. They shall not approach me to handle any of my sacred things. They shall not profane my holiness. But they shall appoint guard over my sanctuary and over the walls of the temple. But I will put them in charge of all that is done in my temple. They shall be responsible for all my service and all that is done within my walls. They shall labor for the people of Israel. But as for the priests, the sons of Zadok, who offered my sacrifices when the people of Israel went astray, they shall stand near me to serve me, and they shall stand before me to offer me the fat and the blood of the sacrifices. They shall offer them to me. They shall enter my sanctuary and approach my table to serve me. They shall keep my charge. When they enter the gate of the inner court, they shall wear linen garments. They shall have no wool on them. While they minister in the gates of the inner court, or within, their heads shall be shaved, but not with a razor, and they shall refresh themselves by running water no more than for a ritual cleansing. When they go out into the outer court to the people, they shall put off the garments in which they have been ministering and lay them in the sacred chambers. And they shall don other garments, so that they do not communicate holiness to the people with their garments. They shall not shave their heads or let their locks grow long. They shall surely trim their heads. No priest shall drink wine when he enters the inner court. They shall not marry a widow or a divorced woman, but only virgins of the stock of the house of Israel. They shall also not marry a harlot. They shall teach my people the difference between the holy and the common, and show them the way to keep uncleanness away. In a controversy they shall act as judges, and they shall judge it according to my judgments. They shall also keep my laws and my statutes at assemblies. They shall not defile themselves by coming near to a dead person, but for father or for mother, or for brother or sister who are dead, that is, for a near relative, they may defile themselves. After he is cleansed, 7 days shall be counted for him. And on the day that he goes into the holy place, into the inner court, to serve in the holy place, he shall offer his sin offering, says the Lord God. This shall be their inheritance. I am their inheritance. And you shall give them no possession in Israel. I am their possession. They shall eat the cereal offering, the sin offering, and the guilt offering. And every devoted thing in Israel shall be theirs. The first of all first fruits of all kinds, and every offering of all kinds, from all your offerings, shall belong to the priests. You shall also give to them the first of your dough, to make a blessing to rest on your house. No dead body or carcass, from which blood has been drawn, shall be eaten by the priests. Ezekiel chapter 45, verses 1 to 25. When you divide the land by lot for an inheritance, you shall set apart a portion of the land as a holy offering to the Lord, 25,000 cubits long and 20,000 cubits wide. This shall be holy throughout all its borders. Of this there shall be a square for the sanctuary, 500 by 500 cubits, with 50 cubits for an open space round about. And in this measured area a square plot of 500 by 500 shall be for the temple, with a 50-cubit margin all around it. This shall be his possession in Israel. And my princes shall no longer oppress my people, but they shall let the land rest, as it is, on the feast of unleavened bread. But the 5,000 cubits by 25,000 cubits shall be for the Levites, who serve at the temple, as their possession for cities to live in. And as the property of the city, you shall set aside a portion for holy things, 500 rods long and 500 rods wide. It shall be a square. And these 500 by 500 shall be for holy things, within the limits of the city. The portion of the prince shall be on the one side, and on the other side of the holy portion, and of the property of the city, alongside the holy portion and the property of the city, on the west side westward, and on the east side eastward, and in length comparable to one of the tribal portions from the west side to the east side. The land of the prince shall be his property in Israel. And my princes shall no longer oppress my people, but they shall let the house of Israel have the land according to their tribes. Thus says the Lord God. Enough, O princes of Israel! Put away violence and plundering, and execute justice and righteousness. Cease your evictions of my people, says the Lord God. You shall have just balances, a just ephah, and a just bath. The ephah and the bath shall be of one measure, the bath containing 1/10 of a homer, and the ephah 1/10 of a homer. The homer shall be the standard measure. The shekel shall be 20 gerahs, 20 shekels, 25 shekels, and 15 shekels shall be your mina. This is your offering to be made. 1/6 of an ephah from each homer of wheat, 1/6 of an ephah from each homer of barley. And as to oil, 1/10 of a bath from each core, which is 10 baths, or a homer, for 10 baths make a homer. And 1 lamb from each flock of 200, from the watering places of Israel for a cereal offering, a burnt offering and peace offerings, to make atonement for them, says the Lord God. All the people of the land shall be responsible for this offering to the prince in Israel. It shall be the prince's duty to provide the burnt offerings, cereal offerings, and drink offerings, at the feasts, the new moons, and the Sabbaths, all the appointed festivals of the house of Israel. He shall provide the sin offering, the cereal offering, the burnt offering, and the peace offerings, to make atonement for the house of Israel. Thus says the Lord God, in the first month, on the first day of the month, you shall take a young bull without blemish, and purify the sanctuary. The priest shall take some of the blood of the sin offering and put it on the doorposts of the temple, on the 4 corners of the sill of the altar, and on the posts of the gate of the inner court. You shall do the same on the 7th day of the month for anyone who has sinned unintentionally or through ignorance. And you shall make atonement for the temple. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month, you shall celebrate the Passover, and for 7 days unleavened bread shall be eaten. On that day the prince shall provide a bull for a sin offering for himself and for all the people of the land. On the 7 days of the festival he shall provide 7 bulls and 7 rams without blemish, as a burnt offering to the Lord. And for each bull and for each ram he shall provide a grain offering of 1 ephah, together with 1 hin of oil. And on the 7th day of the festival he shall provide 7 bulls and 7 rams without blemish, and 7 days of festival he shall provide as a burnt offering to the Lord, 8 bulls and 8 rams without blemish. And for each of the 7 bulls and for each of the 7 rams he shall provide a grain offering of 1 ephah with 1 hin of oil. In the 7th month, on the 15th day of the month, at the festival, he shall provide the same 7 days, as in the first 7 days, as a sin offering, as a burnt offering, with a grain offering and with oil.